Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Press Information Bureau, I welcome you all to this press conference. It's my privilege and honor to introduce the Union Minister of State Independent Charge for Development of Northeastern Region, Minister of State for External Affairs, Overseas Indian Affairs, Retired General Dr. V.K. Singh ji. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. I also welcome Secretary Development of Northeastern Region, Shri Rajiv Takruji. Friends, there will be first opening remarks by the Honorable Minister. Thereafterwards, the floor is open for questions and answers. Kindly ask your questions one by one. And before asking, please state your name and your organization. May I also request you to kindly switch off your mobiles or keep them in silent mode. Over to the Honorable Minister.
Once again, a very good afternoon to everybody. You all are aware that the donor ministry was set up in 2004, and it was earlier preceded by the Department of Donor, which was with the Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, after taking a stock of what has been happening right through, in the last approximately 100 days, we have carried out a few things to ensure that the developmental model moves faster. You will appreciate that we are concerned with the development part, and development is not a subject which starts off immediately. It takes time. There are backlogs. There are methodologies that need to be sorted out, and therefore, aim has been in these 100 days to revitalize the whole thing so that we can see the type of development that we are looking at in the Northeast as soon as possible. As a starter, after taking reviews, let me tell you that we held a conference of our chief ministers from all the 8 states, in which 2 states the chief ministers could not come because they were preoccupied, but they sent responsible ministers for that. And we thrashed out in detail as to what kind of problems were being faced by them, how did they look at the whole mechanism of donor and the Northeastern Council, and what were their suggestions. Based on that, we formed working groups which came out with suggestions in various sectors. And this we brought with us so that what in-house analysis we had done, which was generally in conformity with what they were saying, it could be implemented in terms of how the schemes that are going on can be made more effective. We have looked at a technology-based system-driven mechanism for processing of all our proposals, because we found that when a proposal comes from Northeast region, it comes to us. At times, it is incomplete, so it goes back. When the DPRs come, they have to be sent to the line ministry. The line ministry finds fault in it, and it goes back. And this process was taking too much of time. In fact, we were surprised ourselves that at times it was taking the better part of a financial year and even going beyond that. And therefore, there was a need to ensure that we cut down on this so that our response of the ministry is that much faster. So we have come up with a technology-based system-driven mechanism to process all this, as well as to look as to how we can ensure that technical vetting can be done in a much faster manner. And this brought us to a thing of relooking at the role being performed by the Northeastern Council, as to how can we realign, recast the role of Northeastern Council so that it becomes an effective tool in this developmental model that we want to pursue. So we are looking at technical vetting, we are looking at monitoring, we are looking at supervision, we are looking at provision of technical expertise, vetting of their DPRs by a mechanism in a recasted NEC so that the states find it easier. At the moment, the states were not finding it easier. We have concentrated on the following things in this 100 days. We looked at the infrastructural part because infrastructure is the major part of any developmental model. We have liaised with both the surface transport, shipping, and the railway ministry, as well as the civil aviation ministry. The projects of Northeast Bar are being pushed at a faster pace. We have given special attention to road and railway link from Silchar, Ziribam to Imphal, because that, in our view, forms a very important segment for connectivity in Northeast. The mega block conversion, which is going to take place, is linked to this road because the moment the mega block project starts for conversion, we will find that if the road is not there to supply Manipur and beyond to Mizoram, we will have a major problem. Take your mind back, we had to utilize passage through Ashuganj and then through Bangladesh to supply Tripura at one particular point of time. That option is still open if we find that these things do not go at a pace that we want. After this, we looked at civil aviation. We found that because of certain procedural issues and certain, you can say, not looking in the future, some flights had been stopped which brought the connectivity in Northeast to a substantially low scale. And therefore, we went back to sign a MOU all over again with the Alliance Air. We are now looking at also finding out if we can have a low-cost airline with both fixed and rotary wing, which can service the Northeast better, which can at least bring them to the hubs, from where the Air India or other airlines can pick them up and provide a connectivity in which a person does not have to waste too much of time. At the moment, there are times when a person going from Delhi to, let's say, Aizawl spends better part of day and a half because the connectivity of flights is an issue. So this we are removing. We are also trying to ensure that we can service more parts of the northeastern region with rotary wing support so that we can get the people out. Pricing, we will have to formulate so that it is affordable to a certain extent. We looked at what we can do in the field of education and skill development. Besides the NS, National Skill Development Council, we have also roped in experts and organizations which are providing skill development to a large measure. The first finishing school for the Northeast region was inaugurated on 22nd of last month in Guwahati. And our aim is that we will put a finishing school in each capital. Now, this finishing school will cater for 400 children who will be housed in a hostel next to the institution so that they can be geared up in terms of personality development, in hospitality business, in airline sector, in health sector, so that when they go out to seek jobs, they are that much better equipped. We are also looking at 2 more organizations which can boost the skill development sector, both in the service sector as well as in other sectors where they can be found useful in the industrial issues. We are, for the future, looking at how we can start better educational facilities by opening centers of excellence by private universities, stroke any other renowned university in the various central universities in the Northeast, which will ensure that people don't have to travel all the way this side and can get quality education there only. NESCOM is already working on establishment of 2 BPOs at least in our northeastern region. Areas are being identified by them. The work is in advanced stages, and by the year end, I hope that we should be able to have a functioning BPO, at least 2 of them in the northeast region, so that a lot of people who work in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Pune, and all other places in BPOs can actually work from nearer their homes. We in the health sector, we have tried to see what we can do. Besides 2 states where the aims will come up, we were looking at certain private health sector institutions. Apollo is planning to put up a hospital in Guwahati. We are looking at a Medicity kind of a thing coming up in as far east as is possible, where we can have a medical college, a dental college, a nursing college, a health sector workers training institution. Negotiations are going on. We have not yet been able to identify a private partner for that. We are ensuring that the various projects that were coming from the states, a thorough review is done for them. You are aware that there is a thing called non-lapsable central pool of reserves. There is a 10% earmark from 55 different ministries, which is they're supposed to use in the Northeast. We found there are lacunas in how this money is utilized, and we are streamlining it so that this amount can be utilized in our Northeastern region. We are also forming a working group which will look at the entire transportation sector as to how we can revitalize the entire transportation sector. There are too many things which are going on in terms of transport subsidy, in terms of various other issues. We are looking at this. We have written to the various ministries which will be involved in this so that they can send a joint secretary and we can finalize. We have put a timeline of month and a half for this so that it doesn't go for too long. Food chain, cold chain, mega food parks, agriculture and organic farming are areas that we decided to concentrate on. You are aware that for organic farming, 100 crores were earmarked to start it. We have contacted both the agricultural ministry as well as a private marketing agency which can pick up organic produce from the doorsteps of the farmer and market it for them. Aim is that whole of Northeast must become an organic hub which can service the rest of the country as well as the needs of rest of the world. The Food and Processing Ministry was contacted for establishment of various cold chain things. People have already come forward. We are also in advanced negotiations with putting up a irradiation plant in the Northeast so that the preservation is for a longer duration as well as what is then exported is also of international standard. We are also in touch with certain Latin American countries to bring in better strains of food as well as new items which will be more nutritious as well as will give a fillip to export of items from our Northeast region. These are some of the initiatives that have already started. We have a budget which is limited, and therefore it was important that ongoing projects are re-looked at, and we found that the committed liability is much more than what we have in the budget, and therefore our priorities have been recasted so that we can complete what was already on the anvil or what was ongoing, and then look at how we can utilize the rest of the budget. The committed liabilities for both the Northeastern Council as well as for the donor ministry are more than what the budget allocations are. And therefore, there is a lot of churning that is taking place. A lot of new projects which had come are going to be on a standstill till we complete what was started, because otherwise we will be in the same mode as we have been for the last 10 years, where a project is started, it is left halfway for various problems, and a new project is started again in the next financial year. It doesn't help anybody, because then that project remains where it is. We are looking at tourism and the knowledge of our Northeast to be another area of priority. In tourism, we are trying to promote rural, eco, and adventure tourism. A lot of people are coming forward for that. We are also looking at how we can make people aware of our Northeast, the culture and the people, because a lot of things take place because people are not aware of the culture. And to assist in metros, in Delhi, JNU has earmarked land for a hostel for our Northeast students. There are about 1,200 odd students from Northeast region who are studying in JNU. One hostel for about 500 odd students. They have come up with a proposal, and we should be able to look at that proposal and clear it and have a hostel constructed. In Delhi, we already have one working women's hostel and one more hostel for the Northeastern students. We are looking at all other metros also, wherever we can, where it becomes easy, without disturbing the assimilation that is happening, where we can put up the students, especially our girl students or girls who are working in other areas, into a safer environment, which will help them. In terms of the business development, we have had discussion with the people who are dealing in MSME and the ministry. Our aim is that MSMEs need to be promoted in our Northeast. In addition to this, Tezpur University, Jorhat University is starting a center for entrepreneur development so that we can train people from that area to take up projects. Our aim is smaller projects that come up are better because larger projects have their own issues as well as large requirement of capital. Now, there are a lot of other things, maybe they will come out in questions. I've finished. If you have questions, you can ask.
We'll circulate this brief to after the press conference. So we can start the question from, yes, but.
Sir, this is Vishnu Bhawan from the Telegraph. Sir, you said that the NEC is being recast.
The role is being recast.
Role is being recast. There was a standing committee report last year about the powers of the donor ministry itself, that it has got limited powers, and perhaps that is reflected in your rules of business also. That when you are interacting with your line ministry, the donor ministry hardly has any power to push for the agenda of the Northeast, because the line ministry has got their own decision-making mechanisms and their own approaches. Is there any plan to actually empower, in that sense, the ministry itself?
See, the new government that has come, everybody is empowered. Today, I can walk up to any minister and talk to him about the problems of Northeast, and it gets done. The problem is that if there is no dialogue between the ministries and you only depend on procedural sending of letters, things will never happen. Today, things are different. Today, I can, which I have already done, when we were looking at both the road and the rail projects as well as the civil aviation projects, we went to the ministries and got the things which we wanted. There is no problem. So there is no problem in getting things released or projects done for the Northeast region.
Sir, I am Manas Banerjee from Doinik Agrodut, Assam. Sir, here, sir. Manas Banerjee from Doinik Agrodut, Assam. My question is that very recently you have seen the havoc of the floods in Assam. The communication system of Northeast, particularly Assam, has been shattered in a very bad shape, shattered very miserably. So, and the national condition of national highway is also pathetic. So, in such a situation, what is your agenda to restore that the old position? And number two question is that the Naga infiltration in Assam, some territories of Assam, and resulted the killing of innocent Assamese there in Assam. So, how do this tackle this problem?
Mr. Manas, firstly, where the flood is concerned, normally it comes under the Water Resources Ministry. They are the ones who look after flood control and other things. We assist them. We look at what comes to us from the states in terms of what can be done for those measures which will assist in flood control. For the last so many years, the Flood Control Department, which exists in various states in the Northeast, they have been taking various measures. Large amount of money has gone in. Rivers, and especially river like Brahmaputra, is more than a living being. You stop it from one side, it goes to the other side. So there are a lot of things which are taking place, a lot of identifications have been done. It's a priority area. And one of the areas for which the Water Resources Ministry is already sanctioned is large number of flood measures for the Majuli Island, because that's a heritage site. So large measures are being taken so that all the erosion that was taking place is checked. In addition, wherever else the erosions are taking place and which have become priority areas, those are being addressed. The second question that you asked actually pertains to Ministry of Home Affairs, and I would not like to tackle that.
Sir, this is Kamaljeet Sandhu from Headlines Today. Two questions. One is definitely on Kashmir floods. Army is doing a lot of good work. Do you think that's the way to go about it? And my second question is about reports of 23 Manipuri youths joining Al-Qaeda and the ISIS. How serious are these, and is there any truth in it? Is there a sort of investigation which is being looked into in this entire aspect?
Kamaljeet, we have praised the army, and I'll praise the army. Having been in the army myself, they're doing a great job. They did a great job in Uttarakhand. But beyond that, I'll not tell you anything about Kashmir. That's a separate issue altogether. Where the issue of the Manipuri youth are concerned, this matter is again being dealt with by Ministry of Home Affairs, and my saying anything will be incorrect at this moment.
सर, न्यूज नेशन से मोहित दुबे हूं। सर, मेरा दो सवाल है। एक सवाल है, जो नॉर्थ ईस्ट में जो सड़कें हैं, जो चाइना के सीमा से सटे हुए हमारे इलाके हैं, वहां पे सड़कें अभी भी जिस रूप में बननी चाहिए थी वो नहीं बन पाई हैं। बहुत बड़ी समस्या है। दूसरा सवाल मेरा ये है कि चाइना के राष्ट्रपति भारत आने वाले हैं, उससे पहले घुसपैठ की समस्या बढ़ गई है। तो ऐसे में आप एक आर्मी के बड़े अधिकारी रहे हैं, सेना अध्यक्ष रहे हैं, किस रूप में इसको लेते हैं?
देखिए, पहले तो जो आपने रोड की समस्या की बात की, क्योंकि हमारा पूर्वोत्तर विकास मंत्रालय रोड्स के बारे में जागरूक है, काफी काम करने की जरूरत है। कुछ रोड जो सीमा के नजदीक हैं वो बॉर्डर रोड्स बनाता है, बाकी रोड्स के लिए स्टेट्स के साथ जिस तरीके से वो सोचते हैं, चाहे पीडब्ल्यूडी हो चाहे कोई बाहर का हो, अब इस चीज को एक नई दिशा दी जा रही है। हमारा एम है कि जो ट्रांस अरुणाचल हाईवे बन रहा है वो जल्दी से जल्दी कंप्लीट हो। उसके अंदर कुछ रुकावटें थी, उनको दूर किया जा रहा है फॉरेस्ट और इको क्लियरेंस के हिसाब से। हमारे यहां रोड्स की एक और समस्या है, जो हिमालय पर्वत श्रृंखला है, हमारी तरफ वो कच्ची है, इसलिए जब भी रोड बनानी पड़ती है उसमें बहुत कठिनाई आती है। और जब आप पठार की बात करते हैं, तिब्बती पठार की बात, वहां पर रोड बनाने के लिए सिर्फ एक डोजर लगाना पड़ता है, रोड बन जाती है। तो वहां का जो प्रोग्रेस है वो हमसे हमेशा ज्यादा होगा। इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हमको कोशिश नहीं करनी चाहिए, पूरी चेष्टा करनी चाहिए। और ये एक ऐसा विषय है जिसके ऊपर हम पूरा अपना ध्यान केंद्रित किए हुए कि हमारा नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन का पूरा रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जल्दी से जल्दी अच्छी हालत में आए। काफी काम चल रहा है नितिन गडकरी जी के मंत्रालय के साथ, और हमारी कोशिश है कि इसके अंदर आपको अगले 1-2 साल के अंदर बहुत अच्छा प्रोग्रेस दिखाई देगा। आपने दूसरा सवाल पूछा घुसपैठ के बारे में। आपसे माफी चाहूंगा, मामला मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस और गृह मंत्रालय का है, मैं इस पर टिप्पणी नहीं करूंगा।
वो जो आपने अभी टूरिज्म के बारे में भी बोले थे, रास्ता के बारे में मैं बोल रहा हूँ। गुवाहाटी से हाफलॉन्ग जाने में 12 घंटा लगता है। हाफलॉन्ग यू नो द टूरिस्ट इसके लिए सबसे बड़ा जगह है, लेकिन वो जाने में 12 घंटा लगता है।
बहुत सुंदर जगह है मानस जी।
सर, वो जातिंदा है, जातिंदा ऑल द माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स आर कमिंग एंड कमिटिंग सुसाइड, एक टूरिस्ट सेंटर है, लेकिन रास्ता जाने में एक बार जो गया नेक्स्ट टाइम नहीं जाएगा। इवन एलिफेंट्स कांट मूव देयर, इतना रास्ता खराब है। तो इसके लिए आपने टूरिज्म प्रमोशन के लिए तो कुछ करेंगे?
फौज के लिए रास्ता खराब नहीं है, रास्ता फौज के लिए बहुत अच्छा है। ठीक है, नहीं, आई नो रास्ता इंप्रूव हो रहा है। वी वांट टू गेट इट डन एज फास्ट एज पॉसिबल। द एंटायर थिंग राइट अप टू whether it is the railway line from Haflong, Lumding, Agartala, or it is the road which will link Haflong to Silchar and then Silchar to Imphal, which can carry on. So बनेगा, चिंता मत करिए। अब हम लोग आ गए हैं ना, तो बनेगा।
So one constant problem appears to be the ill treatment of people from the northeast in Delhi. Now, the first part of my question, have you taken any measures, taken up the issue with authorities in Delhi to ensure that some action is taken? Firstly, sir. Secondly, you are also Minister of State for External Affairs. You were introduced at that. There have been reports of, in fact, the authorities in Leh have just spoken about this problem in Demchok, where 9 tents have been built on the Indian side, and this has been going on for 4 days. There's a similar face-off in Chumar. Will this affect the visit of President Xi Jinping? So I'm asking you this as MOS External Affairs.
Unfortunately, I am today answering only as MOS donor. Okay.
Confining to your first question, sir.
Okay, your
Northeast Delhi.
See, the sensitivity, so far as our ministry is concerned, is being conveyed to the Ministry of Home. And if you recall, last incident that happened, the Ministry of State for Home, Kiranji, who hails from Northeast region himself, went out there to sort out the issues. It is high on our priority. We are looking at all possible measures to ensure that this sensitivity is increased. And to this extent, whether it takes more publicity money, whether it takes more resources to get this message across, it is being done. Second question, MOD and Ministry of Home Affairs.
Afternoon, General Singh, afternoon. I'm Ajay Banerjee, work with the Tribune. General Singh, I will ask 2 questions, both towards the Northeast. You have given a lot of detail about the things you have done in the past 100 days. So could you also tell more about what you plan about the rail links to all the states? The rail links, sir, the rail links to all the states. And secondly, around 4 or 5 years ago, sir, we were planning to have a road route through Bangladesh to reach things in the Northeast. What is the progress on that? And would you, as a former army chief, believe that it's feasible and possible to have a road route through Bangladesh?
Let me first say that so far as the rail links are concerned, last 10 years, the progress, or maybe 11 years, the progress on the rail links, what were sanctioned, has been very tardy. Whether you take the rail links north of Brahmaputra, nothing much has progressed. Even the gauge conversion has been very, very slow. Whether you look at the Bogeyville bridge, very slow. The Silchar-Jiribam, not progress, but this time it is being given, both these, the North Bank as well as Silchar-Jiribam-Imphal rail link is being given impetus. I'm quite sure that the grand plan that we have of linking the various state capitals will fructify, but not at least for 1 year. The progress will start only after this, because firstly the surveys will be involved. And surveys take their own money. At the moment, we want to concentrate on what is doable. We want to concentrate energies on that. So whether it is rail link which was proposed for Sikkim, for which survey was sanctioned, survey has not yet been done, whether it is to Aizawl, whether it is extension of the Dimapur link so that it can provide a certain more better connectivity into Nagaland, all these will take place, but will take. Meghalaya is okay. Meghalaya's problems are lesser, but rail is still not going. It will take a time to take the rail up to Shillong. The second thing that you asked me on Bangladesh was, see, there are 2-3 things that are happening with Bangladesh. One, there is a greater cooperation, there is a better understanding. The present polity in Bangladesh understands the connectivity issues with India much better. You would be aware that the link over Feni River, there is a bridge being constructed by us, so that it gives us connectivity from southern part of Tripura over the Feni River, and then we can go towards Ashuganj, which Bangladesh has made available for our usage whenever we want. In addition, we were promised that if we can improve the road from Agartala to Chittagong, we can use Chittagong port. So I do not find any problem in the type of connectivity issues that we are looking at, provided whatever projects come up are mutually beneficial to both the countries. Anything which doesn't fill this criteria will automatically impede the type of progress that we are looking at. We are also looking at improvement of the road link Imphal, More, Tamu, Mandalay, so that ultimately it can link up with the road that is coming from Bangkok through Thailand, Cambodia, up to Myanmar.
Two clarifications. So one, you said about rail links you need to develop it. So do you believe in the future, the Minister for the Northeast Affairs, that a rail link from the Northeast could connect Kunming, China, through Myanmar?
I don't know whether you will connect Kunming or not, but I certainly look at connection of all our northeastern region in a better manner. Where we will look at Kunming later.
So second clarification. So have you set timeline for connecting all the state capitals? You said it will be done.
See, at the moment, I can't predict a timeline because there's so much of work left already that my whole attention is on these particular links. And if I can get them completed in next 5 years, I think that will be the biggest achievement that I would have done.
जनरल सिंह, मैं प्रशांत हूँ न्यूज 24 चैनल से। मेरे दो सवाल हैं। एक तो चाइनीज प्रेसिडेंट इंडिया आ रहे हैं और सुनने में आ रहा है कि बहुत सारे रेल प्रोजेक्ट्स में और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेक्टर में कई सारे टाई अप हो सकते हैं भारत के साथ में। तो चाइना ने नॉर्थ ईस्ट अरुणाचल प्रदेश के उस तरफ खूब सारा डेवलपमेंट किया हुआ, तो आप चाहेंगे कि क्या नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन में भी वो डेवलपमेंट करना, अगर करते हैं तो क्या आप तैयार होंगे? दूसरा सवाल मेरा है कि एक तरफ तो बातचीत हो रही है और दूसरी तरफ नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन में घुसपैठ कर रहा है चाइना, तो ऐसे में दोनों चीजें एक साथ कैसे चल सकती हैं? डोनर मिनिस्टर के तौर पे मैं जानना।
देखिए, आपका जो पहला सवाल है उसके बारे में मैं सिर्फ यही कहना चाहूंगा, मुझे नहीं पता कि चाइना क्या प्रपोजल लेकर आ रहा है। आने दीजिए उनको, उनके प्रपोजल उनको देने दीजिए, उसके बाद देखेंगे कि उनको प्रपोजल्स को कहां पे ले जाया जाता है। और जहां तक नॉर्थ ईस्ट का सवाल है, मेरे निगाह के अंदर कोई घुसपैठ नहीं आई है अभी तक। अभी हम, और मेरा मंत्रालय जो है वो विकास की गति को तेज करना चाहता है। जहां तक घुसपैठ का सवाल है, वो रक्षा मंत्रालय और गृह मंत्रालय का काम है उसको देखना।
आप पूछिए। आप
Oh, sir, my name is Bruce. I'm from Mizoram Post, and I also work as a media in charge for Northeast Helpline for the past 6 years. I have two questions. One, in the past 1 month, 4 governors resigned in Mizoram. So, are you thinking that Mizoram state is a dumping ground for your party or for your ministry? Second question, you say that a hostel for Northeast will be come up in ZNU, and we want in ZNU. So, do you think that opening hostel for Northeast will lessen the problems faced by the Northeast? Because the problem faced by the Northeast is not inside the hostel, but it's out in the street.
Let me answer your first question. Mizoram is not a dumping ground. It is one of the most beautiful states, most peaceful states. If the governors have resigned, governors have resigned on their own volition, probably for reasons which are not connected to Mizoram. So let's not take it that way. I'm quite sure whoever is going to be a governor in Mizoram will prove to be very effective. And so far as this government is concerned, northeastern region is a priority area, and I would request you to listen to the speech given by our Prime Minister when he in the Parliament, as well as the President, as well as what is given in the party manifesto for the northeastern region. Your second question was on. See, it is like this. It is not that hostels are going to lessen what is happening. Hostels are only providing a safer environment for staying wherever they are. Our aim is to lessen what you are talking of, discrimination and other things. That will be by education, that is by sensitizing people, that is by making people aware that there is a very beautiful part of our country that exists, and earlier they know about it, the better it is.
Sir, I am Achinta Bora from PTI. Sir, I have two questions. One is regarding these airlines that you are just talked. When these airlines will be a subsidiary of Air India, or it's a new one, and when that come into operation? Then second is, you are talking about railway connectivity with the states, but the fact is that the Northeast still doesn't have a dedicated two-way tracks with the rest of the country. So where can we expect these two-way tracks to the Northeast?
Let me take your second question first. That is what is our priority. Improvement of the railway infrastructure so that Northeast is better connected. And that is why I said that when we are looking at connecting the capitals, at the moment we want to do what is on our plate. That is all the railway projects which are pending and the betterment of the railway infrastructure so that it takes time. Today things are slightly better than what they used to be. First time that I traveled to Northeast, it used to take 3 days from Lucknow. There used to be a thing called Awadh Trivandrum Express, meter gauge. It used to take 3.5 days for you to reach Guwahati at that time. Today things are slightly better. Our aim is that in these next couple of years, things are much, much better. A person traveling from Northeast does not feel that he is isolated. Second thing you asked about the air, this thing. What we have done is to restore what the Air India was already doing and to ensure, and now our next step is to ensure that the Air India's flight connectivity is such that a person can reach in time to the various places. In addition, we are looking at whether it is a regional or a subsidiary, somebody who can come up to provide a low-cost, small aircraft connectivity so that people can take off from smaller airfields and come to the larger airfield. Somebody can come from the interior areas in a helicopter and come to the larger distance, which will feed these larger places from where larger aircrafts fly.
Yes, madam.
So, I'm Payal from NewsX. I have a couple of questions for you. You spoke about the Northeast and, of course, its development, but internally, what's happened within the states? For example, what happened between Assam and Nagaland in terms of border. How much is that as a hindrance to your development plan? How do you want to sort it out? Then I'll ask the second one.
This boundary issue between Nagaland and Assam has been there for some time, for quite some time. In fact, right from the time that Nagaland was formed, if you go into the history of it. And off and on, clashes have happened for various reasons. I'm not going into the how and why of clashes and what measures are being taken but any clash, any stoppage, any block impacts development. And therefore, we are in consultation with the ministries who deal with it so that these things are solved or these factors are mitigated to a large extent so that developmental work doesn't stop.
So my question, the second question will be, of course, you as a part of the government, Hafiz Saeed has basically said that India is waging a war of water terrorism on the POK. What are your comments on that?
He doesn't concern the development in Northeast.
Sir, I'm Raghavendra from the Indian Express. You mentioned about the committed liabilities of your ministry and the budget which you have. Could you elaborate on the gap which exists? And as a supplementary to that, have you also pruned down the list of projects that have been languishing for years? I mean, I believe you have a very long shelf of pending projects.
See what?
Sir, my question is connected. My question is connected to that, so if you could answer both of them together. Yes. You also talked about non-lapsable funds, and you talked about the lacunae being there. If you could elaborate a little bit more on that along with the other question.
See, when we talk of non-lapsable funds, every ministry, there are 55 ministries, where 10% is supposed to be spent on Northeast, and these funds don't lapse. Now, that is in theory. Okay. But in practice, what happens is, this remains on paper because for some reason or the other, and that's what we found, that there was, when we said, where are the non-lapsable funds? So there was an X amount which was told to me. You look here, so much is available. But in actuality, it is not available. It was only on paper. Therefore, what we have done now is that we have, through our secretary, asked the ministries, look here, out of your budget, this 10% is supposed to be spent. Would you please let us know where this is going to be spent? And we would like to tell you where to spend it. So we are trying to make this non-lapsable central pool of resources actually something that will become practical and not theoretical as it was. Now, does that answer your question? Okay. Now, where aging of the projects is concerned, there are projects which have been aging for the last 6-7 years, for the simple reason that there are a lot of other connected issues with it. Like 10% is to be given by the state. At times the state is incapable of giving that money. They have to provide a utilization certificate. Now, if they don't put that 10%, where will they get the utilization certificate? So this adds on to the time delay. And projects have been languishing. There are some which have gone to 6-7 years. There are some which are 3 years old. There are some which are 2 years old, for various reasons. And one of the demands that came from the chief ministers when we held this conference was, why don't you give the entire money? Now that, you would agree, is something that absolves the state of all the responsibility. So we have to find a way through. And we are looking at the importance of the project. We are looking at what it would have done in that area, which area is it located in. We have asked all states to geographically, on a map, plot where the projects are, so that we can see where the spread of all these projects has been. That it gives us an idea if the projects are meant for the entire state, for the development of the state, or they are concentrated in a particular area for various other reasons. So, aging and the way funds have been spent are both interconnected. And that is what this review revealed. And that is why what we found was that the committed liabilities are at least more than 50% of our budget, combined with the Northeastern Council.
Could you give us some figures, sir?
Okay. The committed liability is for the NEC is 1,754 crores, while the budget is about 700 odd crores. And for the donor, the committed liabilities were 2,900 approximately, while our budget is about 2,000 crores. And the CPR is only 900 crores. So it's a huge gap. And over a period of time, this has happened because people have not taken stock of completion of the project.
In order to prioritize, are you also deleting or putting certain projects on hold for the time?
Each project is being reassessed in terms of utility and how much of money has already been spent on it. Because it shouldn't so happen that you have spent a very large amount and then you say, okay, let's scrap it. That will be money down the drain. So each one is being studied in detail.
Madam.
Okay, sir, I'm Madhumita. I run a news agency. We supply to various newspapers of the Northeast, also to Doordarshan Northeast. Now, I have two questions. The first is on Manipur. Blockades there are a regular feature. What is being done to start an alternate road? There's an alternate road which was being planned, which was not via Ukhrul, so that the necessary goods reach Imphal Valley.
I told you, priority is Silchar, Ziribam, Imphal Road. That is my priority. And I'm sure it will have a very beneficial effect on the entire Northeast region.
So by when? 2-3 years?
See, the work is from the Surface Transport Ministry. The work is on their priority. Now they have got to tender it. They are also looking at people who can construct it in a faster time frame. They are also looking at whether this should be a concrete road or it should be a newer technology bitumen-less road. All these things are being looked at.
My second question, sir, I'm from Tripura, and my question is from Tripura. I've seen lots of vegetables, lots of fruits being wasted or sold at really throwaway prices. 1 rupee for a pineapple, 1 kg of pineapple for 1 rupee, something like that. So what is being done to, you talked about cold storage. What is being done?
Not cold storage. I talked of cold chain.
Okay, so
I want to evacuate all that produce, not only from Tripura, but all over. Pineapples are in Meghalaya, pineapples are in Tripura, pineapples are in Nagaland. In fact, Ghaspani claims to have the sweetest pineapple in the world. I want to take out pineapple from Arunachal. All this must come out for use by people in rest of the country as well as abroad.
But we are hearing it for a long time.
If you recall, in Tripura, there was quite some time back that put up a plant for getting
Naramak, yes.
The pulp out of pineapple. It used to function only for 4 months or so, and it went defunct after that. We are looking at this entire issue, and that is why I said we are also trying to put up this irradiation plant so that it can increase the shelf life, and then we can evacuate it out.
But we've been hearing it for the last 10 years.
Now you will see the work. In 10 years you only heard it. Now you will see the work.
Madam, last question.
Sir, I'm Anjali Oja from Indo-Asian News Service. I want to ask that you said that there's a shortage of fund. Is it also affecting some infrastructure projects? And are you seeking more money from the government, from the finance ministry?
See, various ministries do various things. The surface transport and highways, in which shipping is also combined, they have their own budget, they set the projects. We have gone to them to tell them that, look here, please give so much of money for this particular project. They have carried out their assessment, and this road that I mentioned just now, it is a priority road. In addition, they are also looking at all other highway infrastructure in the Northeast. Same is for the railways. Now that money doesn't come to donor ministry, but I am empowered to go and talk to them and tell them that this is meant for the development of Northeast. Please include it as part of your project. So when we look at this 10% from all the 55 ministries, you go to an astounding amount of 53,000 crores. So our aim is how to utilize or force the ministries to utilize this amount for betterment and for development of Northeast. Right?
Sir, this is Primangshu from ABP. You have talked about this air connectivity system within the Northeast region. You are talking about this air connectivity system within the Northeast region, but those things have been tried in the past also and failed because of non-profitability and other reasons. So what is the new thing you are trying now?
See, when you look at non-profitability, it is because people were finding that they were not having enough traffic. And not having enough traffic has got a lot of other facets. If your flights are such that you take 2 days to reach Delhi, why should you take a flight? So you have to look at this entire gamut. It is not just, saying, okay, I've put one aircraft out there and will ferry people. It doesn't happen that way. Today, our Air India aircraft is parked at Calcutta. I want it to go to Guwahati. The moment it goes to Guwahati, the schedule change can take place. If it has to start from Calcutta and come back to Calcutta, then it cannot connect to flights which are starting from Delhi at a particular period of time. So, to bring in that viability and to ensure that people are able to put more flights, you have to change the entire schedule. You have to do a much more realistic look than what you've done earlier.
सर, मैं अमलेंदु हूँ नेशनल दुनिया अखबार से। अरुणाचल प्रदेश में हजारों कंपनियां ऐसी है जो हाइडल प्रोजेक्ट के लिए वहाँ काम कर रही है, लेकिन जमीन लेकर के उन्होंने छोड़ दिया है और कोई प्रोडक्शन नहीं हो रहा है। तो क्या सरकार इस ओर ध्यान दे रही है?
ये मामला सरकार के विचाराधीन है और इसके ऊपर देखा जा रहा है कि क्या वहां की सरकार ने किया और कैसे उसको आगे किया जा सकता है। पावर के जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं वो पावर मिनिस्ट्री के नीचे आते हैं, लेकिन हम उनकी मदद करेंगे कि किस तरीके से ये प्रोजेक्ट हुए हैं, कैसे हुआ, कैसे इनको आगे ले जाया जा सकता है। आपको पता है अरुणाचल हमारे लिए बहुत पावर के लिहाज से बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि वहां का पोटेंशियल तकरीबन 60,000 मेगावाट है। उसको अगर हम ठीक तरह से उपयोग करें बिना किसी इकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम के, बिना किसी प्रोटेस्ट जो कि एक प्रोजेक्ट के लिए हुआ है और वो प्रोजेक्ट रुका हुआ है, आपको उसके बारे में शायद पता होगा। लोअर सुबनसिरी प्रोजेक्ट हमारा पिछले 2 साल से उसमें कोई काम नहीं हो रहा, क्योंकि एक उसके बारे में एक धारणा है कि उससे असम के लोगों को नुकसान होगा। तो क्या उस प्रोजेक्ट को कैसे किया जाए, उसके अलावा बाकी जो प्रोजेक्ट है उनको कैसे ठीक किया जाए, वो सब किया जा रहा है। और अगले 1 हफ्ते के अंदर हमारे सेक्रेटरी साहब भी अरुणाचल में जा रहे हैं और इन सब चीज का जायजा लेंगे। उसके बाद हम पावर मिनिस्ट्री के साथ बैठकर इसका कोई हल ढूंढने की कोशिश करेंगे।
सर, योगेश भारद्वाज, उत्कल मिल से। सर, मेरा रेल लिंक से ही रिलेटेड था और जवाब आ गया, लेकिन कम जवाब था उसमें। रेलवे मंत्रालय को आपके विभाग ने क्या इस सिलसिले में प्रोजेक्ट भेजे हैं रेल कॉरिडोर करने के लिए? क्योंकि रेलवे ऐसी चीज है कि विकास बगैर रेलवे के अधूरा रहता है। रेलवे कॉरिडोर पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट को जोड़ने के लिए और साउथ ईस्ट को उससे कनेक्टेड करने के लिए कुछ इस तरह का प्रपोजल आपके विभाग ने बनाया है, और रेल मंत्रालय से अब तक आपकी इस मामले में क्या वार्ता हुई है, और ये रेल लिंक इन 5 सालों में चालू हो पाएंगे या नहीं?
देखिए, हमारा मंत्रालय कोई प्रोजेक्ट नहीं बनाता है, जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उसके बारे में डिस्कस करता है। जहां तक रेलवे मंत्रालय का सवाल है, शुरू के अंदर ही बजट से पहले और बजट के बाद दोनों समय हमने रेल मंत्री जी से सलाह मशवरा किया है कि जो प्रोजेक्ट उनके अब तक लंबित है कैसे उनको आगे बढ़ाया जाए, और इसके ऊपर उन्होंने पूरा अपना विचार करके उनके लिए पैसा ईयरमार्क करके उनको स्वीकृति प्रदान की है। बिल्कुल अच्छे दिन आएंगे।
Sir, CK Nag this side. You have given a figure of committed liability. Can you just tell us how much that 10% money is lying still on the paper for Northeast and not been actually utilized? Can you give a figure?
See, it is not a question of lying on the paper. It is, like I said, it had become a theory. It had become a theoretical exercise. If I said there was a non-lapsable fund in the last couple of years of 12,000 crores, actually on ground it was not visible. Where it was, nobody knew, because it went and got merged into the Consolidated Fund of India. And the ministries who were supposed to spend it, probably there was no coordination between that ministry and the donor ministry at that time. And that is why I also told you that this time it is, when we take the 10% and the 55 odd ministry, it is working out to be 53,000 plus crores. And we are proactively seeking details from the ministries as to how they are going to spend it and giving them suggestions so that it is actually utilized on ground.
Thank you, Minister Sahab, for your patient reply to the questions. Thanks to media for their cooperation. The press brief is available. Copies are being circulated. You can collect it. Everything is available on PIB website, PIB Tube, official YouTube. The entire proceeding has been live streamed on PIB as webcast. It is available as the entire recording of the press proceeding. You can always refer it afterwards also. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The road already exists. It has to be made into highway.
Please join for a cup of tea also with us. You're all invited.